And hello, welcome back to episode 2 of XIV Light Party. I'm one of your hosts, Dylan Thord, and tonight we have with us Enky. Say hello.
Absolutely not.
Holding true to your gremlin status as always. And Tylp.
Yo.
And we also have with us a special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself, special guest?
Oh my gosh, you're calling me special? So
You're
sweet.
very special.
Oh. Hello, I am Arya Thorne, editor-in-chief of Aetherflow Media.
So one of the reasons why we invited Arya onto the podcast is because Arya is basically like our old boss.
No pressure.
You guys were lovely employees.
Because Arya is basically like our old boss.
No pressure.
You guys were lovely employees. I loved you all dearly.
Yeah, but see, now that we're not employees, it's like when after you leave a company, like before when you were like, you'd hang out with your boss and you had to still be professional. But now we could just be like, so you remember that time? By the way, want to have drinks?
Yeah, oh no, 100%. No, I love it. This is great.
So yeah, no, we're really excited to have Arya on and to talk about everything that she's been up to and also the media tour info, which we're all really excited about. However, first, before we get into our topic, we're going to begin with a couple of news and updates. First of all, hackers and leakers suck. That's the headline.
Yeah, boo. Out.
First of all, for those o'clock in the freaking morning, which was super exciting.
Hey, Croa.
Hello, Croa. Croa, introduce yourself real quick.
Late to the party.
He was lost in the binding coils.
No, he don't want to today.
Okay.
No, he's not in the mood.
He's being quiet. Okay.
Wait, did it not pick up?
Oh,
Okay. No, you did not pick up. Yeah.
Oh,
I hear you now. So, okay, go
Technical
ahead and
difficulties,
introduce
people.
yourself.
Technical difficulties, that's fine.
We're all sitting around doing that whole like, newscaster smile, waiting for the feed to pick up.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, Croa, please go ahead before I keep on babbling.
Yeah, it is I, Croatoan. I'm here. I've
Yay!
made it.
Finally emerged from the binding coils of Bahamut. So returning quickly, and also as well, the income of a lot of major streamers, which I think is really unfortunate. And that's information. It's interesting information, not gonna lie, but at the same time, it's unfortunate because I think it's kind of a breach of their privacy. So
Yeah.
and really concerned that kind of has made them target for various forms of not so cool shenanigans.
I think that's a very light way to describe it.
It is a very light way to
Not
describe
so
it, yeah.
cool shenanigans.
Not
Love
so
it.
Isn't the
cool
guy-
shenanigans.
Isn't the guy who did it just didn't he go on record saying, "Hey, I was just doing it to screw with Twitch because they're kind of being a little bit neglectful right now." At least that's what I remember.
Yeah, that's basically, that was the word as far as why they did that, is that they were trying to strike back at Twitch, not to anybody else. Said that, hey, you know what, your password safe, which I'm sorry, by the very definition,
Hey, I was just doing it to screw with Twitch because they're kind of being a little bit neglectful right now. At least that's what I remember.
yeah, that's basically, that was the word as far as why they did that, is that they were trying to strike back at Twitch, not to anybody else. Said that, hey, you know what, your password safe, which I'm sorry, by the very definition of them being a hacker, telling me that my password is safe is like,
Yeah, no, fam.
I don't know.
Yes, I trust you, hacker. Totally fine.
Yeah, it's like, you know, a
Absolutely.
bank robber during like mid bank heist saying, "Don't worry, I'm not after your money." I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah.
Not my
Why
money.
are you here?
Oh, I'm just here to prove a point. You know,
Yeah,
Get
just
the message
testing
across.
security.
Yeah.
Get the
Obviously.
Batman in here.
Obviously. Yeah, absolutely. So that was part one of some of the, you know, uncool shenanigans of the past couple weeks. The other part of it is obviously, yeah, absolutely. So that was part one of some of the, you know, uncool shenanigans of the past couple weeks. The other part of it is there was some leaks regarding the media tour, which was really
Rude.
unfortunate. Nobody was like really happy about that. But the thing that I thought was really nifty in response is I saw a list all over Twitter and some other sources where people were like, don't retweet it, don't go read into it, just leave it alone, pretend it doesn't exist because we want to respect the devs' work. We really want to give them the experience that they worked so hard for. And that seemed to be for the most part fairly unanimous with a few exceptions. So, you know, the internet is not necessarily an environment that is known very much for their self-control. So that was really nifty to see. It's like, wow.
It reminded me of the time everybody
It was.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I was really, really proud of our community. I thought that was nifty.
The rumors are true about us being pretty good.
Yeah. On most days. We have some days. So
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's got bad days, but yeah,
Discourse.
overall.
So that's kind of the general outside world news. We'll be getting more into the media tour here in a little bit because the embargo has broken. And while we were not part of it, we have been rapidly ingesting all of the videos that every content creator who was part of it, news
So
outlet,
many.
yeah, there's been a lot.
Mhm. I think my YouTube subscription feed was just a wall of videos of like summoner changes. Look at the Charlian, map. It's amazing, and just like all these different videos.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I can't wait to dive into that. So moving on to more of XIV Light Party stuff. We are really, really happy to announce that we're going to a dungeon rally for Extra Life. It will occur on Extra Life Game Day, which is November 6th. The dungeon rally will be kicking off at 7:30 p.m. EST. So far, some of the teams that we have signed up, a lot of them from the previous dungeon rally, is XIV Light Party, of course, because, well, we're running it. We
We're
kind
not
of
going
have
to show up. We're not going to not show up to our own party, are we?
Yeah. I mean, we have party in the name, so we kind of
Exactly.
Yeah. We have Team Nadal, which, you know, bringing that, you know, death and dismay energy, which is kind of cool. We have Hear, Feel, Think, which is like the exact opposite of Nadal. And then Maelstrom Radio, as well as Mugo Go Around Radio, and a few others that we're still trying to confirm. But we have, you know, a few more teams than last time, so it's going to be really nifty. Last time we raised over $900, and it's going to be really nifty. Last time we raised over $900 in roughly an hour, which was
Many meowny.
pretty cool.
Whoa, that's amazing.
Petty for the kids.
Yep.
Very
Nothing
petty for the kids.
brings people together and inspires charity like donating money to screw over other teams. I
Love
know
it so
people.
much.
I'm just going to say, I know people. I know what motivates them. All right. So, in addition to our dungeon rally coming up on November 6th, we also have some upcoming extra or XIV Light Party content releases. I am going to be releasing a crafter gatherer leveling guide in probably sometime over this weekend about how to help you kind of at least maybe not cap your crafters and gatherers before Endwalker, but it'll be live this Sunday. Time TBD. And then we have Enky and her husband. Later, actually, no. It's in November, sorry. Enky and her husband will be hosting one of the podcast episodes themselves, and they will be doing so with special guests Jen and Eric of Generic and Walkers and Generic Live. So if you haven't checked out that stream, it's really cool. They are husband and wife content creators and cosplayers. And one of the things that they frequently do is they podcast while in dwarf cosplay. And there's a lot of commitment there. A lot of commitment. Like I think I saw footage of the husband walking across the floor on his knees.
On his knees. Like their content is such a good laugh. I love watching it. I have a good giggle every single time. Like if you're feeling a bit rubbish, go and pick
it. Yeah, they are. They are pretty adorable. So with that, we're going to now dig into our main topic, which is going to be, first of all, Aetherflow Media. Arya, it's really good to have you on. Glad to have our former boss on here. So
Agreed.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Aetherflow Media is doing now?
Yeah, absolutely. So just in case anybody doesn't know, Aetherflow Media is a group of very passionate Final Fantasy XIV content creators. You might know us from the various magazine issues we published before, but we have come back from our hiatus recently and have launched our brand new, beautifully designed website, and we are publishing new articles every Tuesday. So it's a little bit different from Only, and have launched our brand new, beautifully designed website, and we are publishing new articles every Tuesday. So it's a little bit different from our old schedule of one magazine every 3 months. So definitely a lot more content coming your way, but these are short form articles as opposed to the long articles that we used to publish in the magazine. And these articles range from recreating in-game recipes to interviews with the Final Fantasy XIV dev team and voice actors, to fantastic stories and lore from our favorite lore guy, Croatoan. Crow is one of those very talented writers, and we are so happy to have him with us. And if you haven't already, you can check us out at aetherflowmedia.com. That's AETHERFLOW media.com. So happy to have him with us. And if you haven't already, you can check us out at aetherflowmedia.com. That's AETHERFLOW media.com. And also be sure to check out our socials, which are linked on the website. We currently have a contest going on our Twitter right now. 2 of the main prizes are Endwalker game codes. So if you are interested, please check that out.
I tell you what, though, every time I look at, is it Tetamui, your recipe?
Yes. Oh my God, she's amazing.
Your cook. Every time she does something, I have to be careful. I have to make sure that I have at least eaten an hour beforehand, so I don't want to devour everything in sight.
Yeah,
oh my gosh.
Yep.
She's
the recipe she has up right now is so good. Like go and check that out. If nothing else, go and look at it. Gaze upon the pictures of it, and then
just
feel
look
hungry.
At the pictures. Exactly. Oh my gosh. All of her look at it while you're hungry. That's great advice.
The eccentric chocolate cake. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Oh yeah. Regret.
Major regret.
I was gonna say.
I haven't eaten yet, so I know better. I'm not gonna go and check out the page.
Yeah, I was gonna say, don't do it.
Don't
do it.
See, I just ate, and I'm still kind of like, well, I didn't have dessert though.
True.
You know,
there you go.
That is true.
Now's the time. Just call off the podcast. Let's go make some food.
Make some cake.
Oh gosh, yes, that would be awesome.
So, Arya, I have a question for you.
Yes.
You used to be a big old magazine with honking loads of pages, and it was a big old project. What made you decide to transition from your original format over to your spiffy new website?
I think most of it was just, and that's a huge, lift for a lot of people. And I think it really kind of hit us that this is not a sustainable platform anymore once and I hate bringing up, COVID, but like
Right.
once quarantine hit, I think a lot of people, life changed for a lot of people. And so when we're getting a lot of people saying, hey, I can't do this, this is too much, it was like, okay, maybe let's re-examine this and see if we can salvage this, because we wanted to keep going. We all, love this platform and love what we do. And the biggest thing was, yeah, this is 300 pages of content that we put together, and 3 months even is never enough time,
Right.
even though it sounds like, oh, it's 3 months, it's forever. It's like, well, like, oh, it's 3 months, it's forever. It's like, well,
For
when
300
you break
pages,
it down,
that's still a squish.
exactly, it's a huge lift on not only the writers but the reviewers and then the designers who have to design and lay out every single page, and then it's linking and all of this other stuff. And so we looked at it, and we basically just had like a big staff meeting where we all kind of got really serious and realistic about like, hey, like we need to figure out right now if we're going to call it. Because this is it's a lot of stress, and in a time like, the current year, stress is not ideal.
And there's an
So
abundance of it.
yeah, exactly. Crazy abundance of it. And so I think what really surprised me, because
And there's an
so
abundance of it.
yeah, exactly. Crazy abundance of it. And so I think what really surprised me, because I was ready to call it, and just be like, you know what, we had an amazing run, and I'm so lucky for all of the work and all of the people that have, put time into this. But as always, our staff is incredible and completely surprised me and said, no, we want to keep doing this. And for me, that was just like a huge, like, oh my God, like my heart just like exploded. Yeah, well, because it's hard, like, especially with so many people having left, because life happens, right?
Right.
So many people having left, and people are seeing, I guess, coworkers, right, leave every day, and then it's a huge morale and just your drive to keep going. And so seeing people say like, no, I want to keep writing, I want to keep doing this, was such a huge like 180, So I think we all left that meeting like super jazzed, like, okay, yeah, like we're gonna do this, okay, And so we kind of just pivoted and we're like, okay, we know we want to keep doing this, but how are we going to do this? Because the magazine is not sustainable. We can't do that anymore. And so we have this great website, but not a lot of people go to the website. So we're like, okay, well, what if instead of publishing a magazine, what if we just do articles uploaded straight to the website, have it on a regular schedule, so that people can kind of pick their own timeline and writers can, figure out how they want to structure their, process. And so in doing that, it freed up a lot of time, a little bit shorter, but it gives you time, because the articles are so short, to kind of flesh out a bigger idea and then chop it up into tiny pieces and then deliver that. So at least in my mind, it feels a lot better and a lot more sustainable, which is
And more manageable for all of you, I imagine.
Yeah, no, it's so much better. So we're still working out some kinks and trying to figure some stuff out, but at the end of the day, it's so much better, and so much like it's just better for everyone's, I think, mental health, and just, especially like I said, in our current year, making sure that everyone can still do this and not burn out.
Because that's a delicate balance to strike, that is.
It is. Yeah, no, 100%. And like as a creative person, I feel that a lot, like I work a day job. Creative person, I feel that a lot, like I work a day job, right? Don't we all? and having to, because I'm a graphic designer IRL, so going from graphic design in my day job to then do layout design, it was so much like work.
A lot.
Like I was living in Photoshop. All I did was InDesign. Everything was just, you work and then you work on the magazine and then you work and then you work on the magazine. And it just became this like ending or never ending cycle of, and not to say that like I didn't love working on the magazine, but over time it just, it kind of wears on you and you start to feel that burnout creep in. And that was the last thing I wanted. Because at the time I was like, I'm the creative director. I can't burn out. Like, what? That's not going to work.
You were kind of the
So-
linchpin, the fulcrum
Yeah.
on which on what a lot of things turned,
Yeah. So I can't just like, like I co-founded this a long time ago and, we're going on at this point 3 years. And 3 years is a lot of time to continually, pour yourself into something.
Especially a
And-
volunteer project. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. And it was, of course you start out and you're like, yeah, no, this is awesome. We're going to do great. And, blah, blah, blah. We have all these big ideas. And then as time goes on, of course, things start to break down or you miss out on something or something falls through. And like, that's all the things that you have to kind of roll with. And, COVID was just another thing that we needed to roll with. And so now I think we've hit a really good stride and I'm super excited to keep going and continue creating content the way we have been, just in a different format.
So
And continue creating content the way we have been, just in a different format.
So one question I have is that personally I've seen in like the IRL workplace, there's definitely been a transformation as far as how we work, what the focus is on, and also how companies kind of work with their people. And I don't know about your workplace, but I know in my workplace, we've seen like a fair amount of exodus, people looking for a different type of work environment, but we've also seen an influx. And it seems like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, Aetherflow Media has also kind of experienced a similar transformation, because it's all been COVID. COVID changed so much as far as how I feel like you'll have like a central group, but now people are kind of working a little bit more.
We had that big staff meeting to decide whether or not we were even going to continue. That was a huge factor in like, okay, everyone's working differently. People are working from home. People are working overtime. People are, doing all these different things in their normal life, and then they come home and still have to do work for us. And like that, like, I don't want to put stress on people. Like, that's not, especially, like, I know I keep bringing this up, but in our current year, I don't want to be adding stress to people's days. And
Right.
so if like I said, at that staff meeting we had decided to end it, that would have been a completely okay decision as far as I'm concerned, because I don't want to add more stress. And so if this project became a stress or a stressor for anybody, that was never the goal. And so I'm happy that people wanted to became a stress or a stressor for anybody. That was never the goal. And so I'm happy that people wanted to continue, but I'm always making sure that this is not a stressor. This is a fun thing that you want to do. And you're here because you want to be here and you're enjoying this. Because if this is an escape for you, then 10 out of 10, let's keep going. But if you're pushing at this because you believe in it, but it's still causing you stress, we got to talk about it and re-examine that. And I think that comes into play not just at Aetherflow, but like everywhere. Like you got to look at everything that you're doing as like, is this causing you stress? If it is it worth the stress? Because some things are stressful but worth it, but other things are stressful and 100% not worth it.
Yeah, and you have to draw a clear line in the sand and say, okay, this is where it becomes unacceptable, and we need to
Exactly this on because we love it, and we believe in it, but it's hurting us? Or do we want to carry this on because we love it and believe in it and we need this? Because at the end of the day, if like I said to our staff members, like I will always be here. I will if this is going down, I'm going down with the ship. Like I don't care, you know. This is like I said, this thing is my baby. And so I wanted to make sure that it wasn't my baby that was hurting people. So
Right.
so at the end of the day, yeah, like if I could give advice to anybody who's trying to do something like this or is in a stressful situation, if this is hurting you, then really re-examine what you're doing. Because like I said, at the end of the day, if it's causing you stress and you reevaluate and it's the end of the day, if it's causing you stress and you reevaluate and it's still worth it, then maybe continue. But you seriously have to look at how it's hurting you. But luckily for us, that was not an issue. And we've been able to kind of change how we do things so that it's not a burden. It's something we all enjoy doing.
It's a fun hobby now as opposed to an obligation.
Yeah, and I well, hopefully it wasn't an obligation for anybody anytime, but
No, I mean,
no, I know. But yeah, no, and that's exactly it. It's like if you're just doing something out of obligation because you feel like you need to, then you gotta think about it.
right? That's not super healthy.
Yeah, and I think I went into 2020 ironically with like not a New Year's resolution because I don't know if I'm the kind of person who and I think I went into 2020 ironically with like not a New Year's resolution because I don't know if I'm the kind of person who makes those and actually sticks to them, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, the one thing that I was like, okay, this is something that I actually need to do was I was very used to uh burning myself to keep other people warm, if that makes sense. Sacrificing my time, my effort, everything else just so other people could feel like they were important. And 2020, of course, is the year where I was like, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to, I can't set my, no, you're fine. That's totally fine. It's like, I can't set myself on fire to keep other people warm, like I can't do it. Turns out 2020 was not the year for that.
Nope.
Yeah, the world just kind of collected, laughed, and
Yeah.
was like, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like at my regular job, I was working sometimes 13, 14-hour days just to, make extra print signs or like make sure that the website looks good. And at that time it's like I can't put time into anything else because I am literally so stressed out that all I want to do after work is just become a burrito and lay on my couch. Like that was my life for like a couple months. Like right after quarantine happened, it was like March of 2020. And here we are in 2021 and I'm still, like everyone takes time to work on themselves, right? And I feel like 2020
Right.
was like the time where it's like, hey, guess what? I know you're trying to work on yourself, but I'm going to give you another obstacle course. Good luck.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's one of those things. But yeah, I think if we were done, then we were done. But if people want to keep going, then hell yeah, I'm in it always.
And it has continued to go.
Yeah. Amazingly. I am so excited and so jazzed that people wanted to keep going. It's something that I think will always like sit in my heart as like one of those moments where I was like, holy crap. I am so lucky and excited to be surrounded by people who are just as excited about this project as me. Because I like felt that in the beginning when people were getting excited and like signing on and um, just getting ready to start this thing. And then now more than ever, when people are like, "No, yeah, I'm good. I'm sticking around." It's like, "Oh, okay, thank God." Okay, it's like, "Oh, okay, thank God." Okay.
Crisis
I'm just-
averted.
yeah, so excited, and it's just one of those like beautiful things where I'm like I said, I'm so lucky to be surrounded by the people that I work with, and I'm so lucky that they're as invested in this project as I am.
I love your enthusiasm. Like I can feel it, and I'm smiling a lot. Like, oh yeah, like,
contagious.
I'm pumped up. Let's go
Dude,
do stuff.
That's literally me after every staff meeting where I'm like, okay, we're gonna make a media calendar and we're gonna do all these amazing things. And I'm like literally hopping up and down in my chair right now. I'm like, yeah, no, let's go. Like it's one of those things where
Nice.
everyone gets excited and then that excitement is contagious. And then it just becomes this like snowball effect where everyone's just like so jazzed about something and you're like, yes, okay, we're implementing this new policy, or we're going to make a media calendar and we're going to do all these amazing things. And I'm like literally hopping up and down in my chair right now. I'm like, yeah, no, let's go. Like it's one of those things where
Nice.
everyone gets excited and then that excitement is contagious. And then it just becomes this like snowball effect where everyone's just like so jazzed about something and you're like, yes, okay, we're implementing this new policy, or we're changing how this works so that it's easier for people down the line. Like I know that's like something so lame where it's like, yeah, I'm excited about the process. But
If you can do that, that's pretty freaking amazing, though.
Right.
yeah, and like if it's something that works and it's something that makes people's lives easier and like is something that helps others, then I'm all for it. That's all I care about. Because at this point, I'm not even making layouts anymore because I don't have to. So my transition from like creative director now to editor in chief has been layouts anymore. So like, what do you need? Happy to jump in wherever needed. But yeah, it's pretty great.
So, speaking of exciting things, what kind of exciting content, like I know you can't necessarily give us too many spoilers, but what kind of exciting content can we expect to see from Aetherflow Media in the future?
Well, I don't want to make any promises, but there is a very exciting voice actor that we'd like to interview. So that is potentially on the horizon. I can't let you guess because Crow, you already know technically, so I can't.
No spoilers.
I know.
So what you're
You already
telling me
know.
is that we can just like off stream, just lean on Croa later.
Oh yeah, just be
Bully
like,
him a bit.
you gotta tell us what's going on. Yeah.
I'll go get the fire started.
Step too far. Tilp, go get your Tilp jar. It's not the jar anymore. It is the Tilp jar
Oh,
again.
it's the Tylp jar. I love
Amazing.
it.
There.
The actual coin noises. I love it. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, Tilp used to have the Tilp jar, but then like after the last episode, I was helping to do the audio edits, and it's like one of the first times I've ever done it. And there were so many ums. I'm like, okay, the Tilp jar is now becoming the jar, but now we've converted the jar back into the Tilp jar.
I love it. That's fantastic.
It flips
Yeah,
back and forth.
is something that I totally do all the time, but it's mostly just so I can like have a moment to breathe, because I tend to not breathe when I talk, so I just kind of like expel words and then I'm like, okay,
I completely understand.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
I,
we
like,
all
get
do
on a
it.
tangent. I know.
We're trying to get better at it, so it's. I feel
tough,
like
man.
in some ways,
2.5 years?
Almost
It
2.5
was
years.
years.
It felt like forever. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but now like kind of we've spun off more or less, and now it's starting over a bit in square one, because I think a lot of the stuff that maybe we even took for granted, that the support that we got from the senior staff, we're having to do now as well. We're having to also monitor ourselves for those for the quality, and now it's like, holy crap, there's so much.
Would you believe I am the least problematic in that regard? The absolute
What?
gremlin is not
Oh
causing
my
problems on
gosh.
purpose.
Enky is fabulous. Yeah, her audio is clean. The rest of us, we're all in like the no bad corner.
I can't really help it because where I'm located, there's a major highway, so I get all those chocobo feet running around. And of course, then you get that random black mage that decides to cast Meteor.
It happens, man. It happens.
Can't really help it because where I'm located, there's a major highway, so I get all those chocobo feet running around. And of course, then you get that random black mage that decides to cast Meteor.
It happens, man. It happens.
Dang black mages.
Right?
So what's some other, like, if there's anything else that you can possibly tease for us?
I noticed you've got a guide tab up there that's currently empty, but looks like it'll have stuff
empty.
in there.
That is a great observation.
I'm not stalking you guys or anything. I just went and had a peek.
What?
That's all.
No, never. That's totally fine. It's whatever. We are planning some exciting guides. We have a fantastic artist in our midst. Ameme is doing some fantastic infographics, I'll say. And I don't know, digest guides. Then stay tuned.
You know, like I like simple.
Right? I love simple. Like just like spoon feed it to me, please. Like
I'm waiting for Dylan to do one of our videos on the raid so I can just be like spoon-fed how to do the extremes.
Dude, I swear, every time I go into especially the near raids where there's just so much going on. The first time I went into I think it was the last near raid.
Paradigm.
Oh my god, I died probably a million times. I'd love an actual count on how many times I died because oh my gosh. It was
Mine
awful.
was 15. First time I went in, it was 15.
Oh my gosh. And then I had friends who were in the chat with me, just hey, this is the next even more, please.
Slowly for the people in the back.
Yeah, I did my best, but there's a lot going on. ADD on overdrive, fam. I can't.
No, it's the left and right for me, which is why I like simplified guides that show me, hey, this is the left mechanic, this is the right mechanic, because as someone with dyscalculia, I can't recognize that stuff, especially if you call it starboard and larboard. Never. Square Enix, listen to me. Never do that again. Absolutely, the McFuck not. I will find you and I will bang on your door and I will scream and howl outside of your HQ until you stop doing it.
Look forward to a new segment coming to XIV Light Party. Enky, absolutely the McFuck not.
I would 100% watch/listen to that.
I really actually
watch/listen to that.
I really actually do kind of want that.
It's just Asahi and Fan Daniel for 16 episodes, and then I get into the meat and potatoes of everything else.
I'm actually pinching the bridge of my nose right now, just so you know.
Yeah, but you've given me a terrible content idea, so you know what? This is great.
I am constantly feeding you terrible ideas all day, even though I know it's gonna where it's gonna go. I kind of just want to see how bad it's gonna be.
It's how bad is the shit post gonna be at the end of the day?
I really shouldn't do this. I really shouldn't egg her on, but yeah, I'm gonna.
But here we are. Yeah.
So okay, moving on. Before that goes into bad places.
Good places.
Yeah, well, that's a matter of opinion. So, okay, moving on. Before that goes into bad places.
Good places.
Yeah, well, that's a matter of opinion. I'm joking. I love you, Enky. Please don't bite my ankles later. So speaking of exciting, the footage from the media tour, let's move on to that. That's a nice, safe topic, right?
There we go.
Footage of the media tour dropped yesterday, and there was a lot to take in. I'm going to admit, I watched quite a bit, all day long.
Oh, yeah.
During times when I was probably not supposed to be. I was supposed to be working, but I did anyways.
How dare you?
Yeah, well, I can multitask, or at least that's what I call it. Anyways, I kind of watched all of the Arya tours, and I kind of skipped past most of the interviews. I know that Enky, wow, you took it seriously and you did your homework. But so what all did everybody take in, and what are you most hyped up for?
I'm not gonna lie, I forgot most of the interviews. I really did. I watched most of them, and I'm kicking myself because it had good information, especially about like the Ishgard lottery system that they're going to put in place to deter. They're putting it on specific wards, though. There's some whole kerfuffle behind it. I can't remember who was it. I think it was Gamer Escape that brought up that point.
Interesting. I love that word, by the way.
I bet you it's Ward 4.
Delicious.
Guarantee it will be Ward number 4. Guarantee it.
Ooh, okay. All right. That's okay.
Why do you think
I'm not
it's going to be Ward 4?
Gremlin.
10 whole gil on Ward 2.
I'll put 100 gil that Tylp is wrong.
Ooh. I mean,
not which ward, just that Tylp's wrong.
Good chance.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking. Like, the odds are in my favor here.
Yep. 100 gil is a pretty penny in this economy, so, you know.
Especially with the rising transport costs. We're all going to be broke.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, maybe. At least the Shalarian's not going to be that bad.
So one video that I saw, and this is like useful information, I'm like writing this down in my little notebook for later, is something about hunts potentially like being linked to getting more Aetherite tickets.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. And I'm like, that's clever. That would get me to do hunts, because I'd be like, $2,000 for a teleport? I don't think so. I'm gonna go kill Bob over here. And I'm gonna get myself an Aetherite ticket.
It's like,
or I don't think so. I'm gonna go kill Bob over here. And I'm gonna get myself an Aetherite ticket.
It's like, I think not.
Oh my.
I like that it looks like they're trying to encourage people in different ways with different incentives to do older content that maybe doesn't have as many people in it anymore, especially like hunts, because you get a hunt train on any server, but the rest of the time when the hunt train's not there, it's dead.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, thank you for the follow.
Ooh. I am super jazzed. I saw this in someone's just like, hey, here's some quality of life updates. But if you're in like a city state, the Aetherite map, you go to like the big Aetherite crystal, and you know when you're like, where's that quest? Oh gosh, which Aetherite is closest to that quest? I don't know how this game works anymore. I love
that's a really good quality of life
huge
update. I really enjoyed
quality
that
of
one.
life update. Oh my gosh, I was like, because that's me every time where I'm like, I just looked at the map and I forgot what the Aetherite was called. I don't know where I'm going. But now, totally changed and updated. It's gorgeous.
Yeah,
There's
I will admit.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say there's a short list of Aetherites where I know exactly where they go to. One is the Aft Castle, because
Yup.
Maelstrom, that's my grain company.
Yep.
I know exactly where that goes. The Bismarck, because, Maelstrom. And then, for whatever odd reason, the Weavers Guild in Oldham. I don't know why. Because it's like right between two of the crafting guilds, I think, or like areas I frequently miss.
Yeah.
It's Sapphire Avenue. That would pretty much be it. Everywhere else, I'm like, I have no idea where you're at. I know, like, whenever I'd go to Ishgard, I'd always want to go to the market.
I feel like I know at least 3 in each city state, and the rest of them, I'm like, I don't know anything.
Paths most traveled and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
For me,
100%.
I've played the game through on several alts and leveled them up several times. I know a decent amount about which Aetherite goes where, but even then, I will still occasionally just have a brain fart and just be like, where do I go?
Yeah.
Which is close objective, so that would be great. Less work for my brain to do, which is wonderful.
Right? Just again, spoon feed it to me, please.
I hate work.
Oh, work's not that bad.
No, it's not.
Nah.
I'm looking at my notes for all of the media tour stuff. Just like this one thing that stands out to me is Garlamald is fucked in all capital letters. And Metro all of the media tour stuff. Just like this one thing that stands out to me is Garlamald is fucked in all capital letters. And Metro Garlamald edition. And I'm just like,
whoa.
Seriously,
How
though.
many exclamation points is the real question?
Oh, a lot.
5.
A lot.
Oh, wow.
Blue.
Like, actually, one of the best videos that I saw, in my opinion, for like area tours was Mog TV, like Frosty's videos. He did like some really great videos because, and I liked him because he didn't talk as much. Feel bad, but he's like, here, I'm just gonna give you a brief like synopsis of what the area is, and then I'm gonna let you enjoy the music because the music is awesome.
oh,
And I
yeah.
actually really, really love that.
Oh my gosh, the music.
And yeah, the music is amazing. And when he was in Garlamald, and one thing I love is that he's flying around as like, yeah, everything here is pretty much decimated. And the only I actually really, really love that.
Oh my gosh, the music.
And yeah, the music is amazing. And when he was in Garlamald, and one thing I love is that he's flying around as like, yeah, everything here is pretty much decimated. And the only life here are things that are called death machines, except for this one building here. What's up with that? It's just like this random building that seems to be unscathed while everything else looks like a marshmallow that got dumped into the campfire.
Amazing.
And you've got people living in squalor down in the metro tunnels. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, what happened here? What did you, Xenos, what did you do? What have you done, my dude?
I was super excited that there are subway tunnels. I really love
Yeah.
that.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, I can't wait to go to the diner car.
I saw someone was doing like you know, they were on one of the mounts and were just like flying around Garlamald, and they just like hovered over like it.
Yep.
Yep.
It's a little eerie how much like, I mean, my mind was like, okay, so I feel a little bit near about this, like the opening scenes of it where everything's like covered in white and decimated and everything's broken down and dilapidated. And I was like, oh, this is giving me those vibes, and I'm not sure I like it. I didn't like it the first time around. Definitely not now.
Oh my gosh. Someone, I think it was Miss Tech, she did basically the same thing, just did an overview of the zone. But like right at the start of the video, she had like a little like blurb about like this is the zone and like the lore and just like a little snippet. Because you know when you go to a new zone and then you know someone's narrating and like, ah yes, the jewel of the sea, blah blah blah.
Yep. I remember that.
Right?
Yeah, it's that for the zone, and so you just get a little bit of insight into like, I see what's happening here. But
like years ago, a long time ago actually, visited St. Petersburg in Russia. And it was right after one of their major government buildings actually was bombed. And I actually, when I was watching the video, I was watching it on like our big TV, and I made him watch it with me. And he's like, you know, this kind of does remind me a lot of when I was there. As far as certain parts of it, he's like, it's very accurate in that way.
Huh.
So it does. It's one of those things that I know like a lot of people have always kind of theorized that, you know, as far as like what the inspiration for Garlamald was. And yeah, that reinforced it for me as far as that feeling of here they are, like this city in the middle of like really cold desolation. And once upon a time, this city was like a great, grand, shining jewel, like Miztech said. And now here it is. And once upon a time, this city was like a great, grand, shining jewel, like Miztech said. And now here it is. This is what all that political conflict has brought it.
Yeah.
But also, everybody jives geometros, and that's why everybody was unhappy. I'm maintaining that. I'd be angry too.
What I would love to know more about, because we got an updated map back in September, July? I can't remember.
I believe so.
Yeah. And there's still a lot of cloud cover over like the Garlamald area. So my question is, how are we getting there? Because obviously we're going. So like, how are we getting there?
Okay, so
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I paused the video at certain places, especially.
So like, how are we getting there?
Okay, so
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I paused the video at certain places, especially whenever like they opened up the teleport menu. One thing I thought was really freaking fascinating is that you have Garlamald. Garlamald is one area, one zone as far as in a region, because you have, say, the Doma region, and there's multiple zones to that. Or in Shadowbringers, you had, there is more than one zone. There's Garlamald and then another one. I couldn't remember what the name was, but they're both in the Ilsabard region. So we have more than one zone in Ilsabard.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's what I'm interested to figure out. Because I feel like such a dork, but I'm like, show me what's under the clouds.
Yeah, Garlamald actually, that is just the zone. Just the zone. Garlamald is a zone.
Yeah.
So it's not like, I hate to pick on him, but it's not like Alamigo where you had the locks and Alamigo was a section of the zone. It's like, no, this whole zone is Garlamald.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yes, it's very, very cool.
And
I loved the trains, like the dilapidated trains.
Oh my god.
The trains are cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, how modern it is and how on the nose it is for kind of current day makes me feel a little disquieted. And I'm just like, I didn't realize you guys were that technologically advanced. Because if you think about how they look in A Realm Reborn, Heavensward, even Stormblood, you don't kind of get the impression that they have a subway network and cars.
No.
You just don't.
No.
But it does kind of make it a little bit more clear as far as why they think that the rest of us are all savages.
Right.
yeah.
We still walk around.
Yeah. Like, oh, could you imagine? Walking. Ugh.
Walking.
We have chocobos. Come on. Would still be pretty low tech compared to Magitech and all that jazz, but yeah, I'd love to see a Garlamald bullet train. That'd be sick.
I'm hoping for our arrival into Ilsabard is going to be something like the arrival of Cloud and all of his party people at the beginning of 7. Like, I want us to just jump off the train and do that whole barrel roll and like we're ready. And then like the city is already like emulated and it's like, well, that was anticlimactic.
Never mind, I guess.
Can't even go to the gift shop now.
We had to pick up souvenirs. Aw.
So much for that I Heart Garlamald t-shirt.
I went to Garlamald and all I got was this stinking t-shirt.
Stupid t-shirt, yeah.
Watch that at the next fan fest. That's going to be a thing. Watch that at the next fan fest. That's going to be a thing.
Dude, if it's not, I will make the shirt. I will make the shirt. Just let me know. I'll make it.
Okay, I'm into this. Yeah, we'll have have our Garlamald t-shirts.
Heck yeah. I got a Redbubble. We can make this work.
Oh yeah.
Speaking of like huge zones, Thavnair, like the jungle. I mean, we didn't see Radzat Han. We haven't seen that yet, but we saw the jungle and all of the little settlements kind of like scattered around it. And I'm like, they didn't go home. They went big as far as areas this time around. They kind of stepped up their game in Shadowbringers and they're continuing that on. And I'm just like, oh god, that's a lot.
I love it. So excited.
That entrance into what I'm pretty sure is Radzat Zan. Oh my goodness.
Oh, like, with the waterfalls coming out of the statues.
Bridge. Yeah.
It's beautiful. There's colors, there's textiles. You see all the NPCs, they're bustling around. Like, we've been given a kind of brief overview of what Thavnair is like. Like, it's, it's very commerce oriented and they're very neutral, but it's kind of their color palette just pops and their architecture is
so bright
and varied. And then the NPCs are all scuttling around doing their own thing, like working deals and everything and hustling. And it's just, and that little seaside town that I can't remember who it was. I think it was Mione showcased that one, like a little seaside town. I can't remember what it was called, but it was so picturesque and so pretty. And it's like, why are you doing this to me? I want to go now.
Yep.
Well, what is it? Only 35 more days until the early access for Endwalker? counting it down.
Look, we can cancel Christmas if you give me like Endwalker now. Like I'm just saying.
Who needs Halloween when we have Endwalker?
There we go.
Right.
I made that joke and I got yelled at. Don't take away
spooky season. Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm a firm supporter of spooky season as I drink from my mug that's got a bunch of like pumpkins on it.
I do love spooky season.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah, Thavnair was beautiful, and I think one of the areas, the parts of Thavnair that I thought was really impressive is there was that, like you said, the seaside town. But then if you look out into the ocean, there's that barrier reef that they have, which is a really nice kind of geographical touch that we haven't seen in some of the previous areas,
Right.
where you have like this more natural like formations. And then if you look even further off towards like the right side when you're facing out, there's then like that other smaller island where it looks like the larger ships dock, which I thought was really nifty.
That's super cool. That kind of almost reminds me of like the Ruby Sea ground, or not underground, underwater, village and stuff like that. Just like so in depth with detail. Love that. So if that's anything like that, I'm all for it.
It seemed a lot like that, but like ×3.
Oh my God! Stop.
Yeah, it stepped it up a bit.
I'm gonna have to watch the
video. They've had that in the lore for a bit, at least for as far as I know, 2016. They mentioned that area in particular has been, they call it the bounty because it literally has the most access to tropical fish and all sorts of wildlife, aquatic wildlife in that area. And they've never really had any issues in terms of like, I guess, access to the oceans. Yeah, so they they always can get fish. They can always access the waters. So it was a very visual element, kind of confirming that statement that they've made years ago about it. So that was nice to see. In terms of like, I guess, access to the oceans. Yeah, so they they always can get fish. They can always access the waters. So it was a very visual element, kind of confirming that statement that they've made years ago about it. So that was nice to see. It's an actual bounty, and not just bounty, but here's one fish. Like you can actually see the the point that they put with that name.
A singular bounty for one fisherman.
So before we move on from Thavnair to any of the other zones, one thing that they also featured in a lot of videos is the Tower of Zot Dungeon, which I love the name. That took me back.
That's a good reference.
And then inside, the bosses. We already know what the bosses are for that tower. Cindy, Mindy, and Sandy.
Ooh.
The Magus sisters.
Yeah, I thought it was the sisters, yeah.
It is the sisters, and and some of the mechanics in that. Holy crap.
Yeah, I heard it's a difficult fight, so
it sounds like it. It really sounds like it. And especially like the last fight, it pretty much goes exactly how you think when you think about the Magus sisters. So yeah.
Tylp is gonna have to scrape me up off the floor in a shovel. I'm gonna die.
I'll go buy some.
Yeah, go down the hardware store and get it. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Just in case you bend one trying to scrape her off the floor.
It's gonna happen a lot. He's gonna wear through him. But my death at the hands of mechanics is inevitable.
Oh yeah. I'm fairly confident that particular dungeon is going to be in Thavnair, considering that the naming convention for the Magus sisters was very Thavnairian. And so is the art design. Magus sisters was very Thavnairian. And so is the art design. And I also, one thing that I thought was really cool about watching that video is that even if you go in with your own party of 4 people, you don't use the trust, you still have the NPCs there. It looks like they're still part of the story, which I really particularly like, because I always was kind of torn as far as, should I do this first with the trusts or should I do it with my friend? I don't know.
Yeah, I like the dialogue that you get when you do the trust with, the various NPCs that you can choose from.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Super, super cool. And if you haven't done it, take Alice into a the first. Oh my god, the name is totally escaping me.
Holminster Switch.
Thank you, Holminster Switch, because ooh, that hit me right in the feels the first time. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. No, actually, there's nothing I've loved more for the past couple.
Oh my god, the name is totally escaping me.
Holminster Switch.
Thank you, Holminster Switch, because ooh, that hit me right in the feels the first time. Oh my god.
Oh yeah. No, actually, there's nothing I've loved more for the past couple months than watching all of the new players when they get to that part, watching that scene, and it's just like, yep. Yeah, I know how you feel. I know exactly how you feel.
The only Frost Dungeon I don't like.
Yeah.
The one where fucking it's Urianger and he cheats, and then Alizé also cheats. I think they zoom across the gap like
Don Meg.
Oh, Don Meg, yep.
Yeah.
And
I'm like, excuse me, no.
Right. Like,
but I love that Reen just like takes her time and she's just walking across the
being precious.
She's so cute. Oh my god. So adorable.
It'd be sad to see Shadowbringers go, but I'm really, really happy for new expansion. So, next area that I was super excited about was Old Charlatan. I loved it so much. I actually messaged a friend shortly after. I was like, pardon me while I move all of my characters to Old Charlatan.
Right? Oh,
have that as your free teleport.
Yeah, that is probably going to be my free teleport. Yep. Oh, yeah. That, like, the harbor area, are you kidding me?
So beautiful, pretty. Sweeping, semi-Roman, semi-Grecian architecture.
Yeah.
Pillars and ornate
I love the intricacy.
Carvings and shit.
Yeah. And everything is just so beautifully crafted. And it's very them, you know? Like, yeah. Like, it's...
ostentatious, I believe, is my favorite word for it.
It's perfect. Ostentatious, but there's also one thing that kind of struck me is that there's so much nature kind of built into it, and also random buildings that it feels a lot more like a town or a city than some of the other towns and cities that we've gotten.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so cool.
It could be a little provincial town in Europe somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting to remember that this area was supposed to be included in 1.0, and then they never got to it because there was absolutely no opportunity to do so. They didn't have the space, time, or resources. But you can kind of imagine, this idea that they had about going to Charlatan has been with the dev team since they started from the beginning, and so this is the culmination of 10 years of probably discussions and review of aesthetic. And at least for me, and as it seems for everyone, well, I guess I won't speak for everybody, but it seems unanimously there is an awareness that they did land the aesthetic pretty well, which is it's cool to see, because can you imagine how it would have looked if they actually got it out in 1.0 compared to how does it look now, which after 10 years of deliberate focus on the aesthetic, on the hints that we were getting throughout every expansion through the characters and through the various areas like Baldessian's Arsenal in Eureka and the Dravanian hinterlands. So it's just nice. It's like this is the culmination of all these efforts, and it worked. You did a great job. Thank you, Square Enix. You actually you hit it. And I don't know, I wasn't afraid, but it was like you always have that trepidation. You always have that like minor,
a tiny little doubt in the back of your head.
Something's not going to fit right. But I think I don't know why the music did it for me first before the aesthetic, because the moment I played that song and I heard the Mediterranean trepidation, you always have that like minor,
a tiny little doubt in the back of your head.
Something's not going to fit right. But I think I don't know why the music did it for me first before the aesthetic, because the moment I played that song and I heard the Mediterranean, I was like, we good.
Yeah.
we
made it, everybody.
Those drums, I don't know what it is, and I don't know how many people in the audience or just in general listen to world music or Mediterranean music, but Square Enix does have a good history with landing some Mediterranean themed soundtracks, I guess is the best word to use, and they're just soaking is just yet another dime just this treasure among composers that just continues to absolutely nail the aesthetic so well in sound design. So everything about it is just great.
So one thing that I thought was interesting, and we kind of knew that it was going to be, it's all over this place. And one thing that I've kind of like really been eager about is to learn more about that and what that's all about. Because I know that if you did some of the dungeons, like Amarat dungeons, that also features in some parts of those dungeons, especially towards the end. You get that kind of same spiral motif. Now, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about Old Charlene right after like the Tower of Zot, if you rewatch those videos, you look at those floors, there's more spiral motif.
Ooh,
there's spiral motif everywhere.
It's on their coffee mugs. It is on. They have Starbucks, okay?
Starbucks. 10 out of 10 would go to Starbucks.
So you're saying that the whole end of the world thing is brought around by Starbucks?
I don't know. Let's be realistic here. Big corporation. We don't know Ground City beneath Charlian. Like there's lifts that you can take to go down there. And I am I wrong? Is it Labyrinthos? I think it is.
Yeah, Labyrinthos.
The music in there is a dramatic fucking shift from the overworld music. I do not like it at all. It's creepy. It's kind of it tries to be kind of whimsical in a way, but there's something not quite right about it. I don't know what I don't know. Can't put my finger on it.
You just got a feeling.
I feel like that's the point. I really feel like that's how it's gonna be.
It's not right.
There's something wrong with the fact that they have managed to access and record literally every scrap of knowledge up until the point of the founding of the city till now, and decided to bury it, all of it. Yeah. So I think it's, I don't know if it's meant to be like, I don't know. It's like that awareness that they can do something. They really can, because they got all the knowledge to do so. Really interesting dynamic to unpack when the debate finally starts, of course. When we go to punch Fortunal for abusing his children.
You do realize that throughout the entire expansion, you're going to be constantly getting DMs from me, right? You'd be like, oh my goodness, we were so off based on this. Or, oh my goodness, I told you that the Garleans are pod people. That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't think it's going to happen. Who knows?
Yeah,
I can't wait to see all the conspiracies unravel. It's going to be lovely.
It's a lot of energy in November, that's for sure.
I like the pod people theory. I think it's good.
Oh my.
Sorry, I interrupted somebody. Please go ahead.
Weren't me?
I can't remember.
My.
Sorry, I interrupted somebody. Please go ahead.
Weren't me?
I can't remember.
That's all good.
Everybody forgot anyway. It's fine.
They're doing a really good job. I don't know. I've never really had like massively bad experiences in terms of releases and things like that. When they announce things, I get really excited overall. I know, this is going to be expansion number 3 for me that I get to participate in live for the first time when it comes out.
Oh, that's awesome.
All that stuff like that. And I still have good memories of when Stormblood dropped, and of course the memes that are always perpetually a part of the fabric of our collective experience. But I still remember entering into the Fringes for the first time, elements and details that they added. The missing part of Gridania that we hear about but don't see anything about. We had known about East End for a while. So the moment you walk into East End, it's like, hey, this is this thing that they've been talking about for so long, and we're finally here now. We get to finally see it in person and then see all the connections and history to that. So it's going to be like that. But these are elements of the game that they have been teasing since its inception, since the moment people have been able to access it back in 2010. We finally get these versions of I could imagine, and this is huge shout out to all the work that all the fanfic artists and fan fan art that we get, people have had images of these areas and a general idea of what's going to be going in their minds. Like they see this image from what they're able to pick from the clues and the facts that we get. And so now this is a time to you get to cross compare those ideas and see how money you were with your inspirations. Because I'll be straightforward. Every once in a while when I see something, it's like, I wonder if this is a thing, and I look into it and it actually is a thing. I'm like, Square, are we friends? Like it's like where'd you get that design idea? Because I'm just saying, I just thought about it, but
on
it's
the same page.
Yeah, having that same page of creative energy between these things that have been around for so long, but in name only, and then all the art that it generated. Because I know for a fact, at least in my circles, there are plenty of Thavnarian cosplayers and Thavnarian role players who've incorporated the elements of this area, and which isn't, at least in the general sense, right? Because it's partially based on Ergen from Final Fantasy XI, and you can tell that element because they directly reference it, and because it's partially based on Ergen from Final Fantasy XI, and you can tell that element because they directly reference it in, for example, Dancer quests and things like that. So now you get to see these impressions and what you felt from these impressions, and now full screen, here it is, 1080p HD, everything that you've been waiting for. And it's just, yeah, like I am absolutely literally over the moon.
Ooh, he did that, everybody.
But it's just I'm absolutely ready to jump into it. I just know I'm probably going to disappear for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we're not going to hear from you. I expect that.
We got you covered. It's fine.
Yeah, there's lots of work to check out.
It'll be fine.
There's lots of stuff to unpack.
Okay, so as we move in
to check out,
it'll be fine.
There's lots of stuff to unpack.
Okay, so as we move in towards the end of our episode, sadly, we have one more thing to talk about, and that would be the class changes and some of the new abilities. So a lot of them are going to be subject to change, but how do we each feel about our favorite classes after seeing some of the potential new items in the kits?
To quote that one famous Tic Tac, wow. Tic Tac, the breast flavor. The TikTok person. Gorgeous!
Oh, absolutely. Oh my god. I am so in love with the changes they made to Bard. And I know not everyone's favorite class is Bard. I see you are currently a Bard, but oh my god. But yes, thank you. Salty is a great word. I got a little salty when Dancer came out and Bard lost basically most of its toolkit.
Dylan has had some
I was going to say, if we were hanging out at a bar right now, I'd be toasting my glass, clinking it towards yours, because I feel that.
Oh my god. But after seeing, I watched 3 different videos on the breakdown of Bard's new toolkit, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm so ready. I Bard. I tell people all the time, but Bard is my comfort class, where if I don't know content or if I'm nervous to try something new, I'll go as Bard because I know the class well enough that I'm whatever. If I mess up, whatever, it's fine. But now I'm so excited. I'm so excied. Also,
I'll have to check those out more. I'll have to check those out more because I used to be a Bard main, and it's where you're the child, the only child in the family, and you get all of the parents' attention, and it's lovely. And then all of a sudden, they bring this new dancer home.
And you're just excuse me?
And your toys disappear from your toy box, and you find them in theirs, and you're like, what the hell?
What is
Can we send it back?
Yeah. I don't want it anymore.
So yes, I feel you. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out because I've been extremely salty about Bard, but please go ahead.
I love that because I don't know if you've seen the videos, but after you do all your 3 songs, you get a fourth like big party-wide buff, and it just feels like you're kind of back at it like Stormblood Bard almost.
Awesome.
Like it's not quite there. It's not 100% Stormblood Bard because you're not like the MP battery anymore. But it's there. It's not 100% Stormblood Bard because you're not like the MP battery anymore. But it still feels, or it looks like it feels so much better. You've got a lot more party utility now, which I appreciate, because that's what I want to do as a bard. Is like, let me help you, fam. I got you.
You're no longer sitting in the corner going pew pew and then silently duding to yourself every now and then.
My dots fell off. Clearly I'm a useless bard because that's all I'm good for at this point, like
yeah. Oh, and I'm sure there was a lot of bards that once they heard that dots were really pretty much going to be no longer be a thing, they're like, what the hell? Come on. That is all we had.
We're the only dot class now.
Okay, that's awesome.
We kept all our dots. Yay. So we are the only. Well, I mean tanks and healers still kept their dots, but summoner lost theirs if I remember correctly, and then the 45 seconds instead of 30. So we'll only have to hit Iron Jaws every 45 seconds.
Thank goodness.
If we remember. So I'm super jazzed.
So who wants to go next?
I have shitty takes, so I should go last.
Uh-oh.
Crow, you're next.
All right. So, of course, I dived into Gunbreaker builds. And so I will say, and this, I always like to preface this because I know there's the meta. I know there's a general expectation of how a certain class should be played by every individual. I will fully admit I don't do that. So usually what I say and what I enjoy, especially about the tanking role, is probably unique to myself, if not held by a small group of individuals. So please do not take this about tanks. So I do want to just really lock in there my individuality when it comes to these observations. But I like to note that Gunbreaker, essentially for Square Enix and for the dev team, is the culmination of several years of tank adjustments. They've realized things that don't work, they realized that things that do work, and they were able to put that all kind of together into the Gunbreaker build. So when you get into Gunbreaker and you start playing it, it becomes and feels so much more smoother and a lot easier than tanking experiences from the other classes, in my opinion, right? But that's the thing, is with this absolute, well patterned system that has been based on several years of testing, several years of results with 3 other tanks, right? And then let's just be very, very objective here. When Dark Knight was released, it was with this absolute, well patterned system that has been based on several years of testing, several years of results with 3 other tanks, right? And then let's just be very, very objective here. When Dark Knight was released, it was released with very small developmental cycle. It didn't have enough time, or it didn't have the extended amount of testing time that Gunbreaker got through the general tanking process. So yeah, when Dark Knight came out, it was rough. It was really rough for a lot of original Dark Knights. But, there's this constant sense of, if they don't fix it when they can, they'll fix it eventually. That's what I've noticed, especially with pretty much everything in the game, really. So like, if there's something that just does not work, they'll get to it when they get the chance. They always do. And so now we're looking at this Gunbreaker build with 3 stacks of Aurora, or no, it's 2 stacks of Aurora, 3 cartridges for full rotations continuation. Burst Strike's going to get a continuation abilities, so that's 4 different. That's basically a string of 8 attacks you can unleash in one single cartridge, which that's the thing about Gunbreaker has been really big about speedy damage, which is they're just making it even faster and hit even harder. I mean, I'm not.
Warrior is quaking.
And that's the thing, because like, yeah, Warrior with Fell Cleave has been a huge part of it, but Gunbreaker just feels so fast. I don't know how to explain it. Like you get access to so many abilities so quickly, and then you're just pop like every I think 30-second cooldown. And I do really good damage with my raid team. And I once again, going back to what I said in the beginning, I managed to keep a pretty good spot in damage output for the entire team. So it's like, I like this. Like, I'm not complaining at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have adjusted a lot of things now. So one thing that cracked me up, because the person who was writing the article was definitely like, I really hope this is they might have to adjust this. Like, they were already saying in the article they're probably going to have to change this. But the AoE attack that you see in the job trailer is 1,200 potency.
That's massive.
I'm like, me? What am I doing with an 1,200 potency attack? AoE.
This damage is for me.
Like me?
Yeah,
what did I do
Warrior
for this?
is quaking.
And then, oh my gosh, what is it? The one that really got me was Heart of Stone's upgrade. So if you weave that into your combat rotation, it becomes Heart of Corundrum. Fun fact. That's when I saw that name, I was like, ooh, I like your naming conventions. But yeah, the upgrade then adds all these buffs. You take 15% less damage for like 15 seconds. I'm like, hello? Thank you? Like, I don't know what I did for, like, what did I do for this present? Like, what did I do to get an even better tank build? I don't know, but thank you, Square Enix. I appreciate you. And I'm definitely going to stick to the Gunbreaker route. Been very comfortable in it so far, and it does not seem like I'm going anywhere with that anytime soon.
So I'd like to say thank you to our latest followers. We have Claytor Tots and Fluffy Jim. So thank you so much for the follows.
Thank you.
Indeedy.
I love the pun.
Oh, yeah.
It's good.
So, I was once upon a time I would say probably a bard main, but then Dancer came along and that kind of went to the wayside. Before that, I was a ninja main. I rotate, I jump around a lot. So now I just basically I have all these classes that I've played and I've mained at some point, and I kind of consider them all part of my, I don't know.
Your repertoire.
Yes, my repertoire. That's a good word. It's fancy. It sounds cool.
10 out of 10.
I like it. But I would say part of all of that is bard, machinist. I dabbled in dancer, but I'm just I don't know, just never did it for me. So machinist, chainsaw. Enough said. Right? That's all we gotta say. Chainsaw, vroom vroom. Chainsaw, vroom vroom.
The machinist is going to be able to start their own Home Depot at some point. They've got a chainsaw, they've got a drill, they've got a flamethrower. Like, what next? Is it going to be bug spray? Is it going to be a weed whacker? What are they going to get?
I'll tell you
can't
what.
forget to have a wrench.
Yes. I'll tell you what, though. If I do not see at least a couple of machinists with macros that use Evil Dead memes, I'm going to be really, really disappointed. Somebody's laying down on the job there, okay?
I require it.
It's like, I am here to chainsaw and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. Come on. I'm giving that to somebody. Please do that.
I mean, you have to use it. If you're not going to macro it, you got to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You have to do it for Bruce Campbell or his chin, either of them.
Why not both? Wait, are we talking about the right chin or the left chin?
I don't know.
Interested. I think though still I'm gonna stick with my current main and what has been my main for the past number of months of Ninja. Ninja was my love before Bard. It's definitely my love now. And I mean, when I watch some of those animations, all I do is I turn on AC/DC. I have Thunderstruck in the background. I'm like, we're good. This is all right. I'm good.
I love it.
So that's my feeling. And now, Tylp, it is your turn. You have to go ahead and talk now.
Dang. Why do I have to be put on this stool?
Because you're the last
Because you're
person.
here.
I will honestly say I like Dragoon. I main
do.
Dragoon. I'm
Mhm.
Dragoon till death. I am actually really excited for all the changes because, like, Blood of the Dragon is now a passive, one less button to press, and there's been times where a fight gets so intense that my Blood of the Dragon would fall off, and this is like one less thing to stress about. So happy about that. And then on top of that, we get new combos, added combos, modified combos. We're just becoming combo breakers now.
From what I saw in the videos, it looks like there's a really good way to flow between AoE and single target without, breaking your momentum.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to be fun. I know when I played Goon, I was kind of just like, well, I have to switch like from single target to something else now.
Yep. Like, so the first set, it was like a 4-tier combo, and then they upgraded
to something else now.
Yep. Like, so the first set, it was like a 4-tier combo, and then they upgraded it to a 5-tier combo in Stormbringers. Wow.
I do that all the time. I honestly do.
Expansion mashup.
I'm like Shadow Blood. Like, wait, what?
But anyways, yes. So then Stormblood, it was a 5-tier combo, and then with Shadowbringers, wow, I actually got it right for once.
Hey.
It was a tier, 6-tier combo, and from the feels of it in the videos, it looks like it's still a 6-tier, but like Chaos Thrust gets an upgrade, like things get upgraded, and it just feels more natural as opposed to, it looks like it's still a 6-tier, but like Chaos Thrust gets an upgrade, like things get upgraded, and it just feels more natural as opposed to like, hey, we're just going to take this away from you and we're just going to add this. It just upgrades them now, and it feels so much better. And it's like, yes. And then Yin Dragon, that's all I care about.
I like that the AF actually legitimate looks like the Batsuit.
Right?
It's even got the glowing emblem in the center of the chest, and I was like, it's Square Enix. That's a little on the nose, but okay, I see what you're doing here.
I'm Batman.
Oh gosh.
And to think, when I made that joke earlier in this podcast, I wasn't actually thinking that it was going to actually come up.
Oh my god.
It happened.
We've come full circle, everybody.
We have.
You're now only allowed to say that like once per podcast now, just so you know.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine with that.
This in a prior episode, when we talked about, hey, are you going to pick up any of the new classes? Sage, very excited for Sage. Exceptionally excited for Sage and how it plays. It looks very entertaining. Also, I'm firing my laser at everything, like Mega Beam. It's a light show, and I love it. It's fabulous. It's fantastic. The naming conventions for the abilities are also really, really good too. I very much enjoy those. Scholar got worked over again. I'm sorry. Like, you can disagree with me for days, but that doesn't look anything like the vastly entertaining class that I played in both Stormblood and Heavensward. It just isn't. Like, that class is definitely dead to me now. I don't know what they've done to it, but it's just just doesn't look like it's any fun anymore. I suppose the other thing for me is an Astrologian main who mainly stood on the knocked side of the table a little bit. The rest of the changes look good. Don't like that they've taken the shields away, but the rest of the changes look good. Red Mage, though. Red Mage. Can we talk about Red Mage for a minute? The change to Manification is probably the biggest thing I can think of, because I can now boop that, and I can do my full rotation at the start of a raid. So I don't have to work up my gauge or whatever and make sure I have like 80 this and 80 that. I'm good to go from the off, which means I can keep up with everybody else on DPS. It's going to be great. And if you pull it off right, I think what Larry's always saying is potentially if you weave everything in correctly, you can get 3 melee combos in a row. And I think my little subtitle there was, what the fuck, holy shit me, I think was what I typed here. I think I spat out my drink while I was watching the video because I was like, oh my god, that's obscene. Also, the third finisher looks good. It's just a line attack that's a bunch of flowers. So I'm god, that's obscene. Also, the third finisher looks good. It's just a line attack that's a bunch of flowers. So I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. We saw Alize doing something flower themed in one of the recent trials. It wasn't a trial. It was a solo GT, I think. And I was like, okay, I'm hoping they put that motif in somewhere if they don't give us that particular attack, and they have. So I'm happy with that.
One thing I thought was interesting with all of the classes across the board is they put like a lot stronger emphasis on combos. That is a much bigger deal. Also for, like Tylp and myself and anybody else who played Final Fantasy XI is the fact that they brought back some of those elements. And what I'm talking about is, for Ninja example, where you put down Doton, and then if you do your AoEs while you're in Doton, you axe off of each other. And that is something that I remember from 11. I mean, both fondly and, a little bit traumatized was like when we would do the combos and we would have then the magic burst. And that's kind of what reminded me of. I'm like, okay, if they then later on do something to where we can actually between classes, like layer our AoEs or combos to create an additional effect on top of that, hopefully maybe the next expansion, I will be totally on board because I think that would be super cool.
Right, like, because Dark Knight has a similar mechanic on, I think it's, Salted Earth? Salted Earth then becomes Salted Darkness, and I'm like, oh, that sounds like a type of candy. I'm all here for this. Also, I'm here for the salt. I don't know whether to eat it or be mad at it, but it's pretty good. But if we could layer those kind of like in old style RPGs where you can wombo combo off of one another, that would be cash money. I would love kind of like in old style RPGs where you can wombo combo off of one another. That would be cash money. I would love that. I feel
like that's what they're going towards. But the fact that we can kind of do that with ourselves right now, I think is really cool. I really, really enjoy that.
I think a lot of the class changes, at least from what I can see, apart from Scholar, I'm sorry, like they all look really, really good. It looks like there's been some really good quality of life updates made to pretty much all of them. I mean, Black Mage is the videos I watch on Black Mage. I'm just like looking at the numbers coming off the striking dummy, and I'm just like, I think I might be sick. That's obscene. How is that suitable for daytime television?
I mean, to be fair, that's Yoshi P's made. And you can't even be mad. You can't even be mad. It's like, considering how much hard work he puts into everything, it's like, this is okay. This is fair.
Yeah.
And also so few people can actually pull that off. And you can't even be mad. You can't even be mad. It's like, considering how much hard work he puts into everything, it's like, this is okay. This is fair.
Yeah.
And also so few people can actually pull that off.
He can have extra explosions. This is a treat. He's been good this year. Pretty sure Santa would agree. He's good every year, but this year he's been especially good. And
extra good boy. Oh my goodness.
Okay, well, I think that just about wraps things up, unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to add.
One final thing, most important thing to remember. November's full moon is on early launch day, so Square Enix planned this, and you can't convince me otherwise.
It's V-spoopy, and I love it.
What was it? Oh gosh, I remember. 1 second. I need to do this before we go.
Oh no. What have we done?
We've started something.
It begins.
Okay, so this is something that I remember I was like conspiracy theorying about like with one of my friends. So Endwalker early access goes live November 19th, 2021, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember the last day of operation for 1.0?
It's not the same day, is it?
It's close.
I don't like that you're lending credence to the world wipe thing that people are speculating about, because that frightens me.
I know.
Yeah, the world wipe.
Like, yeah, it's the final.
I still watch
day.
videos about that. It's time they got to see the Answers trailer, and then after that played, it was like, stay tuned for updates or something, like stay tuned for the next version of this game. It's like, oh my goodness, like what a powerful way to go out.
Right?
Answers is still a good trailer.
So the servers for 1.0 went down on November 11th, 2012. Oh, wow.
Dang.
And the thing that's interesting about that is, so that's only 2 weeks between then and then actual live service, I think. Let me double check. Yeah, about that. So yeah.
They have removed PS3 as far as being supported, and I have no doubt they will eventually pull PS4, right?
I know, yeah.
but the thing is, I can see them redoing the janky infrastructure that they had to use because of PS3 limitations. I can see them tearing everything out and putting it back in again. I don't know how bad it's going to be and how much it's going to hurt, because Yoshi P said there was going to be some suffering, and I'm like, don't.
Hang on a minute.
And he smiled while he did it. He smiled in that insidious way. And I'm waiting for him to pull the plug. I just am. I really hope he doesn't, but I'm waiting for him to do it.
I really feel like, even though they said that it was being pushed back for COVID reasons, I feel like that this worked out. And I feel like if it was not for the fact that I don't know if the 11th would work out, because that is a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think that would work really well. I'm really feeling like that we should watch that. I don't know if the 11th would work out, because that is a Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't think that would work really well. I'm really feeling like that we should watch out for November the 11th, though, in game. Even though it's not like early access, I feel like that there might be some shenanigans.
Yeah, as a Brit right now, I'm like, forget the fucking 5th of November, all right? Forget the gunpowder treason and plot. Like, the 11th is probably going to be the problem.
Yeah, and the thing is in Final Fantasy XIV has never done a pre-launch event. And I think it'd be really interesting if this is one of the first times they did it. And I'm not going to lie, like for the past month or so, I don't know if anybody else has been doing this, but I check out the moon whenever it's out.
Yeah, I do too.
It's not right, is it?
Moon's
it
isn't.
The moon is different. The moon is, I don't know if anybody else has been doing this, but I check out the moon whenever it's out.
Yeah, I do too.
It's not right, is it?
Moon's
it isn't.
The moon is different. The moon is different. And I actually at one time promised one of my friends I was going to take screenshots of the moon every day, and that fell off by the wayside, and they reminded me of that now all the time. It's like, so Dylan, how's the moon tonight? I'm like, shut up.
How's your moon diary going?
Yeah, how's the moon diary?
Diary. Oh my god.
I want to point one thing out. The Breaking Brick Mountain event ends on the 11th too.
No, I hate that.
Oh, nice. Don't.
You've spoken something bad into the world.
How dare. The audacity.
Just for you, Enky.
You do this almost every podcast. You find something and you're just like, I'm going to rustle her jimmies with it.
I want it.
I'm taking my Photoshop and I'm going home. I quit.
Right? That's what I'm saying, man. Oh my god. Oh my goodness.
if that actually happens, I will literally probably every 5 minutes get like a nasty message from Enky.
I'm sitting here.
Filled
I'm just
with
like,
various expletives, followed by "This is your fault. You brought this on."
And you know what? My husband will make me do that trial because he knows. He thinks it's a wonderful idea, Lunar King Mogulmog. And I'm like, I hate it. And he's like, well, you know what? I think it's a great idea.
I think it's a fantastic idea. And, if Yoshi P happens to hear this, you still got time to pull it off. I'm sure you could do it. I think it's a fantastic idea. I support it 100%.
I want to go home.
I can't wait to hear the music to that fight.
Maybe it's going to be
like
like
a really slow version of Good King Mogulmog, Good King.
I'm trying to think who, the general reaction.
maybe it's going to be like
a really slow version of Good King Mogulmog, Good King.
I'm trying to think who, the general reaction. Xenos overhears. He's getting reports of every action that's going on with the Telophoroi. And there's the one just really excited member of the Telophoroi. It's like, oh, I captured the Moogles. They're in the tower. He just turns around. The what now? The Moogles. I got the
Moogles.
You wanted them, right?
Beast tribes, right? You said beast tribes, right? Moogles are beast tribe.
Moogles.
And Xeno's like, so I need you to explain to me. You captured Moogles, and you're getting them to summon a primal, so we can end the world. And it's if that does happen, there has to be some sort of level of I just want to see that disconnect in the leadership as they try to process that this was something that somehow came to be as a result of their plans. They're just like, well, I mean, we didn't really give them. It was pretty broad strokes all along here, so it's our own fault. We didn't say which tribes.
Oh yeah,
it's just a picture of Xenos' head in his hands, just like. Oh
yeah.
Someone tell me why there's a big giant teddy bear in my office.
And I disagree about the music. It needs to be Marilyn Manson, replicating his version of "This Is Halloween."
All right.
I thought I had shitty takes. This is a terrible take. I hate it.
Okay, but what if it had teeth?
I'm going to reiterate, I want to go home. I don't feel safe here around you people. You terrify me. I thought I was just going to be salty for a little bit about Scholar, and then you're all like, nope. Lunar King Mogulmog, and I'm like, no, absolutely. The
primal, it's a genuine grin with teeth.
I love the visual.
And then as the minions smack us around, they're going to say, piss off, Kupo. This is revenge.
You got to incorporate the dopey black mage one.
Yeah, that's
true.
Tried so hard.
And you know what? Moogles with teeth is also awful. I would like you to stop.
I'm just gonna Google that real quick. Hang on.
Someone's drawn it. Someone's drawn it, and you know.
That's what I mean. It's someone's got to draw it.
I'm not
yeah. This is going on Twitter. So I'm going to challenge everybody on our Twitter and our listeners to send us fan art of toothy rabid Moogles for Enky.
This is for Enky.
Just Tasmanian devil style. Just
even human teeth would be awful. Just no.
It's even worse.
And it's an herbivore. Come on, guys.
It's version of one is Sonic the Hedgehog. Remember, before they did.
Oh no!
We're not talking about that. No.
We're gonna put that right back where we put it.
Cursed.
Okay, and with that long ramble off the path. Okay, bringing it back in. So, Arya, tell us again, where can we find Aetherflow Media's excellent content?
You can find us at aetherflowmedia.com. We also have a Discord. Links to all of those and social media are on the website. That's aetherflowmedia.com. Oh, yeah, perfect. Thank you for linking it in the Twitch chat. Love that. Yeah, no, that's where you can find that. And then I don't really post that much on Twitter, but if you're interested, I am Warrior of Thorns on Twitter. But yeah, Aetherflow Media is the important one. Go check them out.
Absolutely. So we just actually had a World Mental Health Day, and as we said so on our Twitter and have talked about on our Discord and other places, we recently did a special bonus episode for World Mental Health Day about imposter syndrome. You can check that out on our Anchor and also on Stitcher and Spotify. So please check out that episode. It is really good. I think it is a good conversation and everybody should participate in that and, I encourage it. Also, please take time for yourself, especially in preparation for Endwalker. I know that there are some people who are burnt out. Go ahead and take a break. If you're also pushing it really hard, go ahead and take a break. If you're also pushing it really hard to, catch up to Endwalker, make sure that you still take breaks. So again, mental health is important. So you can find us obviously on Twitch. You are at the channel right now. It's Twitch TV/XIV Light Party. You can find us on Twitter at XIV Light Party. Both are exciting places. And you can also find our channel on YouTube. There is no handy dandy link for that yet. It's just a long line of letters and stuff. But if you go to our website, xivlightparty.carrd.co, you can find links to all of that, including the YouTube channel. So that is where you can find us. So thank you, Arya, again for joining us.
I want us all to get those Ifrit jackets in that treasure mog. Oh, we could be the cool kids. Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
I'm okay with that. I can do that.
No, I do want to say thank you, Arya, for coming on. It's always a blast hearing from you, and it's nice having you on here and hearing about the magazine. And it's good to hear that it's still thriving, because it was a project that we very much loved and continue to love and support.
Oh, well, thank you so much, and I'm happy to return anytime, and I can't wait to hear more from you guys, because I absolutely loved hanging out with you guys tonight.
Aw, thank you.
Oh, we will definitely have you back.
Yay! I can't wait.
You
oh my
say
God.
that now. You say that now.
I'm gonna be like, oh no, they're asking for me. Oh my God. No, I'm just kidding. I'm so jazzed. I love talking with you guys. It's always fun.
Thank you so much for being on. I went to Davis when we were part of Aether Stream, and also something we haven't talked about a lot before, but when we did decide to kind of go off on our own, I know that you were 100% behind us, and you said that when we did start this podcast, as you are here now, that you would be more than happy to be a guest. So it is really, definitely, it means a lot to us to have all of that support and encouragement. So thank you very much for that.
Thanks,
Absolutely. Aw, I love you guys. No, this is great. Like I said, anytime I'm happy to hop on whenever. And I can't wait for your guys' little extra life biddy. I can't wait for that. That's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, you will definitely have to check that out. It was entertaining.
Amazing.
It was very entertaining.
Cannot wait. Well, hopefully in the future we can do a little collab.
Oh yeah, it was entertaining.
Amazing.
It was very entertaining.
Cannot wait. Well, hopefully in the future we can do a little collab.
Oh yeah,
definitely down for that.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm super down.
Carla, anything else that you got to say?
No, not that I can think of right now.
I'm so
Honestly.
disappointed in you. No nuggets of
What?
wisdom. I was hoping for that.
What?
Drop a lore fact.
Yeah, now I'm trying to process. Oh, I mean, I guess this isn't lore fact, but someone found the first pop culture reference in Thavnair, and
What?
I'm actually very proud of the dev team and the localization team for continuing to do that. But there's a fate, and basically the fate is a bunch of giant snakes, and the NPC says, well, so I guess the word for the snake, though, or at least a version of Hindi that I may have Hindi ancestry, but I do not know how to say the words. But I think it's Bujamga.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, so the NPC says, Bujamga, why did it have to be Bujamga? Because
Oh
they
my
have snakes.
god.
And so that's your fact. Or just remember that forever that the localization team is a bunch of pop culture nerds. And they're
Oh, they
always
really
going to take the
adore
reference.
them.
They're always
Love
going to
it.
take the reference. So
May they never
Nice.
change.
Fantastic.
If you would like more Croatoan lore nuggets, please join us on Sunday for our second part of our lore walk, where I'll probably run off again and leave the rest of you guys to fend for yourselves. But I made it back eventually. I was just there was a hallway to explore. I hadn't explored it yet, so things happen. So in fine, caramel, salt, or darkness. Yeah.
It's
Salted
like
caramel darkness.
take them with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I wanted to add the caramel. Caramel makes
I
it
dig
all
it.
better.
Don't
Yeah.
try and sweeten my salt in my scripts. How dare you?
Okay, fine. Please remember to take the current potency information with a grain of salted darkness, and then add the caramel. Thank you.
I guess that's the best of both
It's a
worlds.
solid compromise. Come on.
It is.
I'm sorry. No, it was fantastic. So thank you again, everybody who joined us live. Thank you for watching us. Thank you for everybody who followed us. We got, oh my goodness, we got 40 followers on our Twitch. Yay!
Fabulous.
Hey.
Thank you for following, guys.
Yes, very exciting. So, and with that, we are out and we will see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Yes, very exciting. So, and with that, we are out and we will see you next time. Until then, goodbye.
Have a good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Good one.
See ya.
Bye-bye. Bye.